Now, when I think about that,
Uh-huh.
how, and you can't go into deep, complex things,
Okay.
but how do one even start? Do you need like an enormous income to start?
No.
I mean, do we need thousands of dollars to start this portfolio?
No, $25 a month.
McDonald's costs that.
$25 a month. Some companies may ask for $50 a month. That's it. What you put in a savings account, Christmas Club account, you're going to put into an investment. A saving is not an investment. It's two different things.
What's the difference?
Saving money means I'm putting the money away, and when I come back, I expect to get it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I expect it to still be there, right? Investing is when I take a kernel of corn and I plant it in the ground. When I come back, I don't expect to get a kernel of corn. I expect to have a stalk. And that stalk's gonna have what? Three ears of corn on it. Well, each ear of corn has about 500 kernels. So I planted one kernel and got 1,500. That's investments. That's where the compound interest comes in. And that's what others have been doing forever. And we were saving money in a bank. The bank has a purpose. When you put money in the bank, what they give you? What kind of candy they give you? Sucker? Why do you think they give you sucker?
Oh.
What do you think the bank's doing with your money?
They invested it.
Thank you.
You can't even
So is their name on the money?
Thanks to her, my podcast.
We got it. Reaching 350 million. They tuning in.
CTR Media Network is now accepting new podcasters to join our growing network that's reaching 350 million global listeners. Have you heard? CTR Media Network offers podcast production, podcast training, distribution, and product placement. Book us for your next event or schedule an interview with CTR Media Network podcasters today. To learn more, go to ctrmedianetwork.com.
Speaking of relationships,
Yeah.
since you brought it up, let's dive a little bit more into it, because when you look at different people who talk about entrepreneurship and they talk about the journey, there are some people that say that being in a relationship, entrepreneurship is the death of a relationship. And then some people, they say, no, it's not, the entrepreneurship is not the death of a relationship. It actually helps. So with 36 years of marriage,
Yes.
being in business over 30 plus years,
Yes.
what is your observation, your real life experience with this? Do you feel that the theory or what they're saying is true?
All right. Listen. Money makes you more of what you already are. If you had planned on leaving your wife, when you make more money, you leave. You go into Vegas, you leave it. It doesn't change your decision. It just speeds it up. And so I would say this. It's important that you come together and you grow together. If we're both here and I'm the entrepreneur and I grow here, that's not the same conversation that we were having here. And if you didn't help me grow there, but you talked about me the whole time I was trying to grow there, you got to be a strong person to give back. So what ends up happening, we don't grow apart, we grow together. So I'm going to share with everybody else, but I got to share with my wife. I got to share with her what I'm sharing with everybody else. She travels with us. We were she became my business partner. She saw things I didn't see and saved our business and our marriage plenty of times. Because I'm looking, I'm zeroing in, and she's looking at the details around and saying, hey, this don't look right. I said, and then finally it's like, okay, that don't look right. And so listen to your partners, but don't leave your partners. You want to grow and grow together. Otherwise, you're in two different worlds. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I can concur with you. I don't feel that being an entrepreneur, because I don't have 36 years yet, but my husband and I are 22 years.
Congratulations.
And yeah, I'm proud of it. Because I'm grateful to God for it. And so it is true. And my husband, we're business partners. And he, just like your wife, he sees things that I don't see.
Right.
Because I'm laser focused on whatever it is that I'm doing. And I'm keeping my eye on the target, eye on the prize. And he sees all the things that's on the side of the road and all the holes, the pitfalls. Yeah. He sees it and he's like, move with caution.
That's right.
And I'm like, what? No, we can go fast. No, slow down. So I really see that. But the key is that you gave a good tip, because you do hear about people breaking up, but they start working apart. They start drifting. And you gave that analogy or that example of you're here and they're there. You're not having the same conversation.
Right.
And so you need to make sure that as you are growing as an entrepreneur, you need to bring them along so they can understand, because it's a whole different language.
Totally.
It's a whole different conversation when you're an entrepreneur.
Yes. And
you need to teach them that new language, that new mindset, because you're no longer the person they married.
Right.
If you start entrepreneurship after you get married, you're no longer that person.
Right.
So you have to reintroduce yourself, because now you're renewed.
Yes.
But you don't want to leave them. And so the fact that you took the time and now you're doing two different things, because my husband and I do two different things in this industry, but we learn how to make it work. Mm-hmm. And I compliment him. He compliments me on how I do things. And so it goes back to that threefold cord. You, your mate, and God, the Holy Spirit. Yeah. So I tell people, it's only 3 people in our marriage. So you trying to get into this, it's only 3. My husband, myself, and God. That's it. We don't need anybody else in our little situation, And so I hear that with you. So that's a great, great tip. So FYI, entrepreneurship, don't break up your marriages unless you allow it to. You have to make that decision. So when we let's talk about sustainability.
Okay.
Because the economy has changed dramatically.
Yes.
We're shifting into a new time in history.
Yes.
Where it's no manual, no instruction, but it almost feels like you're living out Star Trek. Everything you're typing, the phones and all that. You're like, wait a minute, they were trying to tell us we was going to have all these computers and AIs and all this stuff like 40, 50 years ago. So in the financial realm, where money is not always paper, now we're having digital. How are you using that to leverage? And how is it, how should I say it? Is it benefit? You see the benefits in the new digital currency, and how are you helping people in the financial realm to be able to not be afraid of things transitioning? We're going to still use money, paper money, gold, silver, but do you have other things that you're helping them to see? Because it's nerve-wracking to see, for the older generation, to see everything going digital.
But in life, there are changes, but it rolls back around. It's seasons. Mm-hmm. You're going through seasons, and you have to make the adjustment to get through the season, but many times it returns back. So the key is to just know that it's in God's hands, and don't try to get rich quick, because that's not scriptural. Mm-hmm. So it's steady plotting. It's still time and consistency, because the time and consistency is what builds the confidence, the strength, and the faith. We go from glory to glory. We go from faith to faith. And you can't do that if you're trying to jump over the mountain. You got to learn how to move it, and we got to pray. So you talked about what happened with my wife. Praying together allows you to stay together, because prayer changes things. And what ends up happening, and many times we don't do that because it depends on your life. Many times the women might have been stronger faith-wise because we were working and they were praying. And so the man can feel intimidated sometimes about praying because his wife prays better than he does, if you will, communicates better than he does. So what she has to do is allow him to pray. It's time to pray for food. Let him pray. It's time to pray for blessing to travel. Let him pray. It's time to pray at night. It's time to have a situation. And then if she prays and he prays, you can pray together. I don't know why some people think you got to do the whole prayer. You can pray a little bit, and I can pray what I want to say to God inside of this prayer, and then we can come back and close it out. Mm-hmm. So you do things together, and it keeps you together. And then your children see that. Daddy praying, daddy going to church? There's a whole story behind if dad gets saved first, that the majority of the family will always go to church and be saved.
That's true.
And so there's some stories behind the leadership that has to take place, even though the female might have been in the past, Big Mom, she was a praying woman when we were in the field. So there's a reason why there was supposed to be a separation, because if you ever want to kill a race, if you ever want to mess up the roles, change the roles, and you'll change society.
And go back in history and see what happened with us as a whole in the 70s when start taking Black fathers out of the home.
Yeah.
With the different rules.
Yeah.
And right now we're still feeling the brunt as a whole. I personally, my father and mother, blessed to have them still together. And I grew up with my father and mother, but that is not
the norm.
No, that's not the norm. And so as a whole, we can see what's going on with our children as a whole, what's going on with women and boys and the roles. And we can just see it. So
confusion.
It's a lot.
Well, with absentee fathers, then how will the son learn how to be a man?
They can't.
He's learning from a woman. Yeah. And not saying that's a bad idea, because many women have done an awesome job. But remember, the devil's not after him. He's after his assignment. Exactly. He had an assignment. If I can mess him up and mess up his thinking and mess up his mind, his assignment will be, and God will find somebody else to do it. But my son was supposed to do that. Does that make sense?
Yes.
My daughter was supposed to do that. So they got to see that. They got to see that operation inside the house, the order of how God intended the family to be.
And that's the structure when you think about how we maneuver finances as a whole. It is from the construction of how we saw it done in the family.
Ooh.
Our money issues is the root of how we was brought up. Now you saying, ooh, so what are you oohing? Because I want to know what you're thinking.
No, you're right. If our parents were survivors, they taught you how to survive. Exactly. They couldn't teach you how to thrive. Work ethic. And we started talking about that. Well, here's what we were taught. We were taught to be employees. Mm-hmm. Employees follow instructions and keep your mouth closed because you're afraid to get fired. So you don't say nothing to do something you ain't supposed to do unless you that employee that ain't gonna be that long. And there's two ways. They're gonna fire you, or you're gonna max out. You're gonna realize this jar is too small to keep you. You're hitting the ceiling and you got to go somewhere else. But reality is, most of us were taught to be laborers. Slavery is physical labor. Mm-hmm. We take pride in working hard. Well, if you go back and ask people, they're not talking about mental work. They're talking about physical work. So here was the transition with me. I had worked physically hard and saw where it got me. And I said, this ain't working, right? So why are they making more money? Mental money is more than physical money.
That part.
Yeah. Physical money is labor. Okay, work ethic was not an issue with me. You ain't gonna scare me or intimidate me about that. Work ethic wasn't my issue. Once I maxed that and got an A, I said, Lord, what's next? And it's mental money. In other words, instead of using your body, start using your mind now. Oh, if you use your mind, you'll make more money, because most people are mentally lazy. They don't want to, because you were trained. Follow instructions. You ain't got to think. Follow instructions. The one that's thinking became an entrepreneur. The one that's thinking have his own business. Because he said, you're not going to tell me not to think. I got some ideas. And many people gave their whole lives to the company they work for. And the company took all the ideas. What's his business is like? The company took all the ideas, and the company became wealthy, and then discarded the person after a certain age.
And bye-bye.
Yeah. When they actually could have worked on a job and started their own business. And this is what we encourage. See, whoever receives the profits from a slave is going to be wealthy. Go to the plantation owners. Sun up, the sun down. If you're going to work the sun up, the sun down, and I'm receiving the profits, I'm going to be wealthy. So when they killed slavery, they put you on a job and cut it to 8 hours. You can't be wealthy working 8 hours. It's sun up to sundown. So what you were supposed to do after you worked in their land change, then after you got off, you should have went and put 4 hours into your garden to make sure you building your plantation. But instead, ooh, I'm tired. Ooh, this is my day off. Well, you're going to be working for the rest of your life for somebody else. But our mom and dad, great-grandparents, they worked from sun up to sundown. And the plantation owners became wealthy because of their labor. If that's the case, why don't you get it? You can work half a day. That's 12 hours. Ain't going to kill you. Well, 8 hours, I'm done. You broke. You just made enough to pay some of your bills some of the time. And to pay your tax. You broke. And then you got to go to work to do it again. And you do it for 40 years. The only people that did something for 40 years in the Bible were the Israelites. And they were lost.
Yep, they were. So when you think about all of that what you just said was powerful, and that is going to hit the heartstrings of many people, because to hear it, we kind of knew it, because you know how sometimes you know stuff,
Yeah.
but it's different when you hear somebody put the words to it. You're like,
You know you should be doing more.
yeah,
You know you don't make enough doing what you're doing. How you going to just sit there and just go to work the next day and act like you got the same job?
and then you made
You got the same job. You got the same job next year. You worked a whole year and didn't get a raise. Tell me how that works. You worked a whole year and everything went up and you didn't get a raise. And you sign up for another year.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think that's slavery?
Yes.
The only difference is that when they sold slaves, you had slavery papers. They said, this is Lee, and they read off who he was and how much you gonna give me, how much you want. You walk in today with your own slavery papers. It's your resume.
Oh.
And you say, here I be, what you think, how much you give it. And the bargain starts. The bargain starts. And then after a year, you bargain again. At some point, for you that are ready, you've got to say, I'm worth more than that. And you don't stop mastering what you're doing. You don't stop doing what you're doing. You do that and you do more. Does that make sense?
You do that, and then you do more.
You do
Meaning,
more.
we're not telling you to quit your job.
No.
We're
No.
telling you to work your job,
Yes.
and then you come home
Yes.
and work those 4 hours on your future.
There you go.
Work down your future. Because
There
the
you go.
economy, how it is now, you need to keep your job. Not unless you have so much money saved up that you can live off of it. Most people don't have that.
Yes.
So you need to work your job, but then come home and not Netflix and chill. You need to do the work on your building up your legacy. And if you don't know the information, you need to get with people who can help you and train you. So speaking about this building of wealth, it become very elusive to most people. Seem like a fantasy world, some kind of Marvel movie. Like, we love Wakanda Forever, the movie, seeing all that wealth,
Yeah.
black power, but really,
Yes.
how do we get real people
Yes.
to they Wakanda?
Okay. Most people are visual,
Mm-hmm.
which means they've got to see it.
Yeah, they do.
Hearing it, man, I ain't heard a word you said. They've got to see it because they're visual. So you have to be able to show them what we're talking about. And, so, for example, if I ask you, when you retire, how much income would you like to have every month to be able to pay your bills and also enjoy your life? If you told me $5,000 a month, then you add 2 zeros, then you're going to need about $500,000 in your account before you retire. You should only work max 20 years for somebody else. You're working for money, and then money starts working for you. In other words, I see where I'm going. I'm 18. By the time I'm 38, I should have enough money invested and saved to where the return off of my money pays me my salary. So now I'm working for money, but now my money's working for me, so I can choose to do whatever I want to do. I can get another job, I can stay on the job, but I'm not working for money anymore. You don't have control over my life anymore. I'm doing it because I love to do it versus I have to do it. Because I'm making a salary that I talked about 20 years ago, and I spoke it into existence, and now it's happening. It's not an accident. It's intentional. It's by design. And since other people understood math, they mathed it out.
So when I think about, let's piggyback to go back to, we talked about the who, the what, the when, the why, the where, and we're talking about getting more depth into how they're doing that. And you you gave a good strategy.
Yes.
If you have an 18-year-old, and by the time they get 38, you work 20 years.
Yes.
Your money, you're working for the money at that point.
That's right.
And then at 38, mentally, still a young man, still a young woman. Now you have the financial freedom.
Yes.
You don't have the mindset of struggle.
Right.
Because now you don't have to work.
Yes.
You work because you want to work if you choose to do so. And then you have the leverage to be able to make your money start working for you.
Yes.
So people who are not familiar with that terminology, what is something simple to explain how money works for you?
Okay. Military. Mm-hmm. Don't they put in 20 years?
Yeah.
And then don't they retire?
Teachers too.
Thank you. see, the system was already there. Just people didn't understand what they were saying. Unfortunately, if you're a teacher or maybe in the military, you might not make enough doing that. So your retirement for most people that are going to be okay includes disability. You know, they got something else going on outside of just getting a piece of your money. That's because you should never depend on a company for your retirement. No.
That's a different concept for the general population.
No, that's not their job. Their job is to make a profit doing what you're doing for them. Their job ain't to take care of your finances and your money. That's a financial expert job. And so my job is to show people you should have your retirement on your job and you should have your retirement outside your job. You see that? Mm-hmm. So if you need to have that $500,000, you might have had $250,000 on your job, but you got $250,000 outside your job. And chances are the $250,000 that we can do outside your job will probably be more than the $250,000 on your job because the rate of return can be high. They've got to be conservative on your job. They lose your money. You're mad, aren't you?
Yeah.
All right. So that's conservative. So they're not making aggressive investments, but you need that based on what you're talking about doing in 20 years. You can't be in the slow lane. You can't be in the emergency lane.
So I can't go in the right lane. I got to be in the left, the fast lane.
You got to be passing people. Otherwise, you're going to be just like everybody else. And I'm not comparing yourself with them, but you told me 20 years. You told me you wanted to be there at 38. Now, we can go to 48 or 58. That's your choice. That's a different speed.
Okay.
So if you're ready to get it done, and I was, I just looked and I said, I want to enjoy my life. So let me go ahead and let me go ahead and get it done, get it out the way so we can have the time. Most people want money, but they don't realize money without the time, you don't have the health or you don't have the time, the money does you no good. So what you really want is money and time to enjoy it.
So with your financial agency, you help people to retire financially secure.
Yes.
And to leave something not only for them to be financially secure, but most importantly, leave something for the generations behind.
Yes.
Now, when I think about that, how, and you can't go into deep, complex things.
Okay.
But how do one even start? Do you need like an enormous income to start?
No.
I mean, do we need thousands of dollars to start this portfolio?
No, $25.
McDonald's costs that.
$25 a month. Some companies may ask for $50 a month. That's it. What you put in a savings account, Christmas Club account, you're going to put into an investment. A saving is not an investment. It's two different things.
What's the difference?
Saving money means I'm putting the money away, and when I come back, I expect to get it. That makes sense?
Yeah.
And I expect for it to still be there, right? Mm-hmm. Investing is when I take a kernel of corn and I plant it in the ground. When I come back, I don't expect to get a kernel of corn. I expect to have a stalk. And that stalk's going to have what? Three ears of corn on it. Well, each ear of corn has about 500 kernels. So I planted one kernel and got 1,500. That's investments. That's where the compound interest comes in. And that's what others have been doing forever. And we were saving money in a bank. The bank has a purpose. When you put money in the bank, what they give you? What kind of candy they give you? Suckers?
A sucker.
Why do you think they give you suckers?
Oh.
What do you think the banks doing with your money?
They invested it.
Thank you.
You can't even
So is their name on the money?
Yeah.
Which Couldn't you have a savings account and then have an investment account?
Yes, you could. Oh, see, now why they don't teach us this in school?
Because if you did that, you'd be wealthy.
Oh,
And
wow.
that changes things.
We don't like to think about premature death. So what is that facet of what you do with your financial agency that brings us to that place emotionally to deal with it?
Yeah.
So that our family won't have to be doing no GoFundMes and asking, can we get a loan so we can bury Uncle such and such and such and such and such,
Yes.
which is common.
Sure.
So what made you decide to add that element into your what you're doing? Because it's necessary.
Yes.
So what made you do that?
My father died when I was in high school, 11th grade. And my dad had a policy for $10,000. Well, my mom buried him with $4,000. $6,000 was left. In 2 months, the $6,000 was gone. There's 4 children in the family. So what is mom supposed to do now? My dad worked in a mill, my mom worked in a mill. Now that my dad's income is gone, what is my mom supposed to do with 4 children? Who can answer that question? Well, she had to go get another job. But then she worked in a cotton mill. She had 2 jobs in a cotton mill. Worked from 3 to 11 and went to another job from 12 to 8. The doctor said, you got to stop because that's going to kill you. So then the next option was another husband. And guess what? That almost killed her too. Okay. So we had to get rid of him, right? Stepdad, right? It just didn't make sense. So then my brother drops out of high school and gets a job in a mill trying to make ends meet. All of this because my dad had a what? A $10,000 policy. He had a whole life policy. He had a cash value policy. Yeah. Well, it's burial insurance. Black people didn't buy life insurance. They thought they were buying life insurance. You're buying burial insurance. Burial insurance is for you to be buried with. Life insurance means it's enough money for the rest of the family, the wife and the children forever. And you're supposed to leave an inheritance, not for your children, but for your children's children. So you were supposed to put enough away where the children can't run through it. That's where the prodigal son came from. He came back. He had more than enough. Why? Because he knew. You give somebody money that don't have money, what do you think they're going to do with it? They don't understand. They're going to run through it. So you got to set it up in a trust or whatever, a will. You got to put things together to where they can't mess up the money, but they're going to live off the interest.
That's powerful.
So we believe in income protection, not life insurance. Next level, protect his income. If something happened to your husband, you still need his what? So don't talk to me about no 10, 15,000. What are we talking about? Ain't nobody. You got 250,000. Are we gonna have a problem burying him? So don't talk to me about that. Talk to me about the end. How do you want this thing to turn out? You paying for money. You want to pay for 10,000, or you want to pay for 250,000? Well, 250,000 will cost me a lot. We spend $30, $40 a month for 250,000. What are you talking about? But they don't understand. So we break it down and explain the difference of how insurance works. We got it. And then once they understand, they make a wise decision, not based on what the agents say, but what makes sense to them. They need income protection. His income needs to be protected. Your income needs to be protected. That's not burial insurance. That's another level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's really putting the secret sauce onto what legacy really is.
Yeah.
Because now you're thriving, not surviving.
Yeah.
Because most families, they're not preparing for premature death. And frankly, they don't even want to talk about it. And then they're underinsured. They don't have enough. They can't even cover the mortgage. They can't cover the car. They can't cover food. They can't cover unexpected sickness.
Ooh. Why they don't want to talk about it? Because there's lack of money. It's fights. You come to the house, it's 5 children, big mama die, and then, okay, what you got? You remember? Send all the children outside to play. This is normal. Yeah. And then the grown-ups have a conversation. And you're talking about money that you don't have. And now you need to bury mama with 10,000 and you're going around the room. You need 2,000 from you. And all of a sudden, the married couple that might be doing okay, might just they say, oh, sis, you got me, sis. And husband look at you like, well, and then they say, you ain't even part of the family. You this ain't your mom. Come on. And then all of a sudden, get the children. And y'all walk. And you never speak again for 20 and 30 years because somebody had burial insurance instead of income protection. But now we got income protection. It's $1 million worth of coverage. It's 5 children. Divided by 5, that's $200,000 a piece. You think they're going to come in here with an attitude. We ain't talking about what you got. No, we're reading the wheel.
Saying what you're going to get.
You're going to have to dress up to come and get your money from the wheel. You're going to have to look presentable. You're going to have to act right because there's somebody over there that's monitoring you supposed to do what you're supposed to do. You ain't mad. Dad died. That's emotional. You're going to miss him emotionally. You're going to miss him physically. You're going to miss him spiritually and everything else. But financially, you shouldn't miss him. He prepared for this. The Bible said, go get your house in what? Order. Then get your house in order and stop acting like somebody's supposed to do this. Go fund me. Go fund yourself.
Exactly. So we heard the scenario. You gave us tips and strategies for someone that is 18 to 38.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone that's watching this video, they may be in their 40s, their 50s. Do they still have a chance?
Yes. Years and years. 45 to 65. Years and years.
40 to 50 to 60 still have a chance.
They have a better chance because you've got money in your 401k plan. You've got money in your retirement plan. So you've already got a start. Now it's just a matter of the increase in that. And chances are, if your children are gone, you can now save more money. Did you follow me?
So the youngins, and now the older ones, or some people like say seasoned.
Yeah.
We have a chance as well because I was like, well, I'm hearing all this about the young people. Now, what about the ones 40, 50, 60? They feel like we need a chance too because we're just hearing this for the first time.
Yes, ma'am, I got you. They have a better chance, but at the same time, let's not be selfish. You still have an assignment from God to leave an inheritance for your children's children. So if you left $250,000 worth of coverage, $250,000, and then you had $250,000 in your investment. So then they also, you didn't spend that when you living off the interest. They got that as well. And then you had a home, didn't you? So there's $250,000 from the home. And then you had a business. And the business was making about $20,000, $25,000 a month. Otherwise, why you starting a business? If you're going to make $5,000, $6,000, keep your job. You're starting a business to be able to accumulate. You want to be fruitful and then what? Multiply. So the multiplying is about $20,000, $25,000 a month. That's another $250,000. So $250,000 from income protection, $250,000 from real estate, $250,000 from your investment, and $250,000 from your business. You just died, and your children just became a millionaire the next day. You working to try to get $1 million. You died, but you set your family up where they became millionaires the very next day.
Wow.
And it's structured to where they can't run through the money. They can only live off the wealth.
You guys, you gotta tell God thank you for this interview. That He just dropped the mic and gave you some blessing. All age groups can benefit from this, okay? And so, what legacy? Lord, I can't even compose myself. What legacy do you hope to leave behind? Because you're sharing all this different knowledge. I know you implement this with your family first.
Yes.
But also you have people that's up under you with your agency, financial agency.
Yes.
So and you have the ministry work.
Yes.
And the community work.
Yes.
So what else does Lee want to leave behind as his legacy?
I'm good. I mean, to be honest with you, I have peace. I'm not finished because he's not finished with me. But I have peace. And people always say, what are you doing next? I said, next. I mean, who quits their business and go, what are you going to go do? I mean, now I'm with a company that will buy the business back from me. So whatever you are making, they will give you 8 to 10 times that. It's like a McDonald's. You can sell it back, or you can pass it on to my wife. I can pass it on to my children. It's not a gimme. Let me just make some money. It's a business. It's a legal business that you can pass on to the next generation, or we can sell it back to the company. You see what I'm saying? That's why I got involved with it, to where they will pay me 10 times what I was making, and then I can use that and set up legacy for the next generation. But my wife and my children, they're all licensed and a part of the business as well. They understand it. They all are not doing it because I want them to follow their own dreams. But when it comes time to unite and bring the family back together, we're going to be on the same accord doing the same thing.
All right, that's powerful. And what I heard you said is peace.
Yes.
I put a post out and I said, peace is priceless. Peace. And only a select few of people understand those three little words. Peace is priceless. And when you have peace,
Yes.
there's no amount of money that can, and they're like, Tina, how do you feel? I said, I'm at peace.
Yes.
When you're at peace, that's a gift. And he's going to help you. Don't have peace.
Yeah.
The financial, he'll help you get that way. So when we think about the entrepreneurs and the business owners that's watching the show today,
Yes.
because you are a six-figure owner, God bless you because you was a good steward of your gifts and
Yes.
being able to manage and multiply, and most importantly, being able to wrap around and be able to help others
Yes.
to understand, to not be afraid, to
Mhm.
walk by faith,
Yeah.
and also make good decisions with money that's not emotional.
Right.
So what advice would you give aspiring entrepreneurs or business owners that may want to go into entrepreneurship?
Mhm.
They may already be in entrepreneurship,
Yes.
and they may be having financial, I say they money looking
Yeah.
a little
Challenges.
challenges, you
Okay.
know. What would you tell them to do?
My name is Lee Williams, and I'm a broken home. No matter how hard I work, I seem to keep coming up broke.
Mm-hmm.
Confession. Just admit. Everybody knows it. You just acting like you don't think nobody. Everybody knows you're struggling. The bottom line is this: you're not meant to do everything. Okay, I'm a great cook. I want to open up a restaurant. Okay, who's your hostess? Who's managing the restaurant? Who's running the money? Who's going? See, if you're going to be doing it all, you ain't going to be cooking. So the key is to understand the E-myth, the entrepreneurship myth. You're thinking that you're going to be doing everything. That makes no sense. What you have to do is get in a circle, find some people that do what it is you don't do, and you pay them to do that. So guess what? I have to make more money now because I got to pay someone else to cut my grass. I have to make more money now if I'm gonna pay someone else to wash my car. So what happens if you pray about it? He will increase, and then you can bless others. So by employing other people, how you knocking that? Well, you need to cut your own grass. You need to shut up. I cut grass growing up. I washed dishes growing up. I did all of that. Done. Check mark. Not trying to impress anybody else with that. There's someone else that loves to do that and can do it better than I can. I want to bless them. Let me bless them. I want to bless you today. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. So thank you so much, Ali, for allowing us to sit down with you and have this heart-to-heart conversation about finances,
Yes.
also sharing with us a little bit about your life and the ups and downs that are common as part of being a successful entrepreneur.
Mhm.
Also diving a little bit into your personal life, dealing with, is it really true? Do entrepreneurship break up marriages? And you really explaining as a person in a relationship how your mindset needs to be.
Yes.
So before we close out, is there any book that you would recommend someone need to read that's not a hard reading book or quote or anything?
Well, in my business, we got this book called Books of Appointments. Whatever business business is about people and people, numbers and people. You have to set your numbers. You have to find the people. You're marketing. You've got to book people to do business with you. And most people waiting on someone to call them, they're not calling. They're not going to knock on your door and say, hey, no, you've got to go find them. So this is what I say to you. When you're traveling and doing something, don't think God sent you to the store to get a loaf of bread. You cannot think God sent you to the store to get a loaf of bread. No, you're going to meet somebody in the parking lot, in the store, the cash register. They need what you have and you need what they have at all times. You got to be thinking, how can I help you? How can I make you feel good? How can I bless you? And then in turn, the blessing comes back. So always, everywhere you go, there is someone 3 feet away from you that needs what you have, but you haven't said anything, so they can't help you.
Wow.
We got to talk. We have to communicate.
Love it. And it's taking us back. This interview started with you talking about your background with your BA in communication and TV broadcasting, and we are ending it with communication. So if you didn't get anything else, financial and communication and learning to open your mouth. So I think that this is a good way for us to end this conversation. Make sure to check Lee out. We're going to have information in the description of this video where you can click to find out more, where he's going to send you where he wants you to go in order for you to learn more about his financial agency and be able to break things down for you with his agency. Is there anything else you would like to say?
No, I'm just blessed, and I thank you for the opportunity to share, and I pray that the Holy Spirit has already gone before us and opened up some hearts and minds and said it's time. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired. It's time to change. This is your year. Let's go do it.
Love it, love it, love it. And I want to make mention of our sponsor for this episode, which is Anna L. Brothers from the Jazzy Jewel Collection. As you can see, if you want to be dazzled and look your best and to impress, honey, go to Jazzy Jewels Collection. As you can see, I'm wearing the jewelry right now. Our show is really supported by amazing entrepreneurs and business owners just like you who want to see our show thrive and grow. So thank you, Anna L. Brothers, for being this episode's sponsor. You can get in contact with her at 708-903-1082. That is Anna L. Brothers on all social media platforms. And her website is thejazzyjewelscollection.com. Thank you for being this episode's sponsor of the Tina Ramsey Show. Lee, thank you.
You're welcome.
It was my pleasure. You guys, you know what I always say. If no one told you today that you matter, that you are worthy, and that you are valued, I'm here to tell you that I love you, I value you. And I am going to say goodbye until next time. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Because remember, it's time for you to come share, shine, and grow. What? On the Tina Ramsey Show. See you next time. Bye.